Do the Penguins listen to our episodes? Let's talk about it.
It's Crosby. Crosby on Kunitz and shot. Penguins win it! Sees part for Crosby to the goal. He scores!
Buckle up, baby. Are you kidding me?
And on Fane, the shot. He scores! Here's Crosby with a burst of speed up the middle. Gets open. Scores!
You're a collective.
Andy Kyoto is beating Ninamaki. Finds it. What a show!
2 weeks ago, Josh and I put out a video basically condemning the Pittsburgh Penguins and their play. That they came back after the Christmas break, they put on a show, and then they fall right back into the old habits. But the Pittsburgh Penguins were listening. They responded. In the last 5 games, absolutely domination. Most of our losses went into overtime. This team is a wagon, and we're going to talk about it right now. And Josh, you've said it on our live streams. I've heard it on our live streams. People are starting to ask, are the Pittsburgh Penguins back? Josh, are the Pittsburgh Penguins back?
People are asking, and the short answer is yes. Now, it also depends on if you want to look at the metrics and the advanced stats and all that stuff. It may not be in the Penguins' favor, but we live in reality, folks. Okay, we don't need these, fairy tale fake stats to tell you. If you just put on the tape and use your God-given eyeballs, you can tell this team is electric, and they are just a great watch. And it's not just Crosby and Malkin who's turning back the clock and playing, like they're 20-something-year-olds. It's all 4 lines are contributing. All 4 lines are scoring. They're back-checking. They're getting into the corners, doing everything right. And then we were absolutely crucifying Chris Letang about a month and a half ago. And now he's getting into a rhythm with Kulak. Yeah. Now, granted, he did have a little stint, Chris Letang, where he wasn't there. He got hurt. But defense as a whole is playing better. You got Ryan Shea, who's stepping up. Like I said, Kulak. And then it goes in the back, the goaltenders. Stuart Skinner, standing on his head every single game, 7-1 in his last 8 games, and Shelovs is not too far behind him, playing lights out as well. Just got to fix on the shootouts there, bud. Just got to. That's the last hurdle. Shelovs, last hurdle.
Literally, if he fixes himself, I guess, on the shootout, we'd have probably one of the most dangerous tandems in the National Hockey League.
Yeah, I still think we technically do, based off of the stats.
Sure.
The wins losses that stinks because of the shootouts. But but everything else, these guys are playing out of their mind. Now we're sitting at second in the Metropolitan Division, and since that video that we did 2 weeks ago, we're 5 wins, 2 overtime losses. So we're just collecting points left and right. And I said on the live stream, Carolina Hurricanes, objects in mirror may be closer than they appear, and that's the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah, 100%. I think the Penguins are what? They're at second spot with what, 62?
60, I think it was 63 points.
63 points. Carolina has 69.
69. They were 6 points. 6 points behind.
Yeah, and then the next one up, I'm pretty sure. The next one behind, I guess, if you want to look at it.
In our division was the Islanders.
Right, and they're at 59, correct?
59, correct. Yep.
So the Penguins have bought themselves a little bit of a cushion for
Yeah, because if you want to say we technically have games in hand over the Islanders. So
right. And it is a little too early to be counting games to see where we're at with the points. But I'm just saying, as of right now, if we lose a game in regulation, it's not going to hurt us in our standings as of right now. The Penguins still can keep that spot. Josh just said a warning for the Carolina Hurricanes. We're coming up really strong. But I will say the Penguins have been playing 60 minutes every game. They have been coming in. They have been figuring it out. They have been gelling a lot better. And this is the team that we saw in the beginning of the season when we said, whoa, we're number one in the NHL. What is going on? Who is this team? This was not expected. How do we figure this out or capture this in this lightning in a bottle? And then next thing you know, we go to Sweden. And then when we come back, we absolutely suck. And now we're back. Now we're back. Now we're following in. So they had a nice Christmas, I guess, and they came back. And now they're kind of finding the rhythm. They're not falling into the slumps like in seasons past. They actually are figuring out on ice how to figure out to win. And that's great. And that you got to give a kudos to guys like Dan Muse, Nick Bonino, the coaches that are kind of helping the team find their way and become a playoff team. And Josh already mentioned it. Stuart Skinner is a massive part of that. We did not expect Stuart Skinner to be the goalie that he is. Now, Jari was playing a little bit better before the trade. In fact, that's probably why we got someone like Kulak in the trade. But with the Jari trade, Skinner has now returned to his former self. The reason why Edmonton loves Skinner so much, and he has been playing really good. Not only is he playing well, he's gelling with the team well. Apparently, according to reports, the guys absolutely love Stuart Skinner. He's a locker room guy, just like Kevin Hayes or Erik Karlsson. These guys help teams win cups. You just don't get to see it on the ice very often. But Stuart Skinner, great addition. Josh, is there any other guys who kind of helped out the team to kind of bring us back to our former glory, to solidify us as a playoff team?
Yeah, and Kyle Dubas's fingerprints are all over this team. You mentioned someone else who's contributing. Dubas made another trade. It was for Igor Chinakhov from the Columbus Blue Jackets, and he is now at 5 goals in 12, 13 games, something like that, since he came over from Columbus. I mean, the guy has an absolute missile of a shot. It's not fair how ridiculously fast his wrist shot is. Like, it's not even his slap shot. I think it was Colby Armstrong on the game that we just had against Vancouver, indicating that his mile per hour shot is in the 99th percentile for his wrist shot. It's in the 99th percentile of the league. That's ridiculous.
Real.
Yeah, so the guy has an absolute missile of a shot, and some of these highlights that he's producing are fantastic to watch.
Unreal.
He's fastly becoming a fan favorite for sure. Check out our Chinakhov video.
Yeah, also
link below somewhere. Go find it.
yeah, it's not too far behind this one. 7 points in his 13 games played with the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Nice. Yeah.
Some would say that's a great return. For
absolutely.
Who did he go?
Danton Heinen, and draft pick. Yeah.
In a draft pick. That's right.
Yep.
Sorry, there was a lot of trades happening. I'm trying to put my mind through all of it. Yes, you're right. It was that. And what a return. Kind of all in. So that obviously that relationship between Chinakhov and the Columbus Blue Jackets did not work out. He found a home here, especially on the same line with Evgeny Malkin, who's been feeding him the puck. And once again, 7 points in the last 13 games. You could be begging your bottom 6, your top 6 for that kind of production. And Chinakhov just came in and started doing that. So kudos to Kyle Dubas. I'll give him his flowers for getting a guy like Chinakhov to help this team.
Yeah, and it's not only the mid-season trades, it's all the off-season work that they did this past year and the year before. Because, go back, we've talked about it at length many times.
Yeah.
These last 2 years, we have had no idea what Dubas was doing. I understand Dubas knew what he was doing, but he wasn't communicating freely the exact plan. We kept referencing the plan. What is the plan, Kyle? And I think it's working because guys like Tommy Novak, guys like Noel Achari, like Blake Lizotte, Connor Dewar, these guys that were kind of castaways for their teams. We kept calling them lottery tickets. If they hit, they're going to hit. And boy, are they freaking hitting right now. Tommy Novak on that second line. Mantha. Yep. I'm sorry. I totally missed those two. Absolutely. Yeah. Same thing. Same thing with those guys as well. Because what you mentioned it, that relationship with Chinakhov and the Columbus Blue Jackets, dead. But everyone also kind of assumed that he was dead because he wasn't producing. He was a first-round pick, and he wasn't producing like a first-round pick. So now you get him, and now guess what? Producing like a first-round pick. Tommy Novak, same story. Cast away by the Nashville Predators. We'll take him. One man's trash is another man's treasure. And boy, is that so true with these guys.
Dubas is basically a trash man because he is picking up all the trash. Mantha cast away from Detroit, and where was he?
I think he was with Calgary, but he got hurt. So he was hurt. No one wanted him because they thought that he would need another year before he got back to his old form. But hey,
but
2 games ago, 2 goals.
2 goals. Not only that, Detroit, when they drafted him, he was supposed to be the future for Detroit. It just didn't work out. Went to Calgary. We got him. And then, like you said, people thought he was done. His career was over. We were just getting him because we're tanking for McKenna, and we just need some forwards. Well, he showed up and said, "Oh, I'm not done. I'm gonna produce." And Brageau said the same thing. Hey, we're gonna team up, and we're gonna actually put up a lot of points on the board, and we're gonna make an argument that we could be a second line on a very hungry team, and that's what this team is. They're hungry again for the first time in 3 seasons, 4 seasons, you can argue. The Penguins are hungry. The Penguins are looking for playoffs. We thought we should trade Sidney Crosby. We thought, not us. I'm saying
just the fan base. Yep.
The fan base as a whole. We thought we should trade Jari, Crosby, Malkin, Letang, just because it's over. Their time is up. But ladies and gentlemen, the Pittsburgh Penguins are winning. The Pittsburgh Penguins are making an argument to be a top 10 team in the National Hockey League. Not even top 10. We are going against these good teams, and we are competing and playing and putting up all the points just like they are. Yeah, we may not have the dominance of Colorado, but we have the tenacity. We have the exactly what you think of blue collar. We're not going to be the flashiest. We're not going to be the greatest. But you know what? We're going to come in and be consistent. And that is what wins championships. You can have the best players, but you don't always win the Stanley Cup. Just ask Edmonton. It doesn't always work for you. They were tried twice. Just because you have the next Sidney Crosby does not mean you're guaranteed a Stanley Cup. Okay? And that is true. But instead, you had those workers of the Florida Panthers that has 2 Stanley Cups back to back. That is what wins championships. That's what got us in 2016, in 2017. So we can make an argument. We're in that same spot that we were in 2016. We got a new coach. The view is different. We are bringing in guys who can work in the bottom 6. We have arguably the best 4th line in the National Hockey League. Yeah. We have blue-collar guys that are willing to work in, game out. They are doing everything they can. We are the definition, Josh, of a blue-collar hockey team.
Yeah, and I think we're finally seeing Dubas's blueprints on this team and the reason why he wanted to come here, because I think he understood the identity of this city and knew that if he matched the identity of the team with the city, I mean, you'll win over hearts in a heartbeat, because it is that's literally what's happening. And you mentioned it. We're not trying to pull the cart before the horse here, but 2016, 2017, they were, they had speed, but they were grinders. There were guys that were willing to put in the dirty work. And I think we're not at that level, but we have that type of mentality and players that we did back in those 2 cup runs as well. It'll just be interesting to see how everything unfolds leading up to the Olympic break, because you alluded to it earlier. After the Sweden trip, everything fell off. So as we approach these last 2 weeks, week and a half before the Olympic break, I will be holding our breath to see what happens when we return late February, to finally have a final, I guess, marathon. Not marathon. Final sprint of this marathon season.
Yeah, and we're kind of floating under the radar of the NHL a little bit, which is exactly where we want to be.
Absolutely.
Don't give us any attention. But I guarantee you we're going to be the talk of the town when we finally win and we advance past the first round of the playoffs. Then everyone will say, "Oh crap, who knew Pittsburgh was stacked?" Finally the Penguins are in a good spot to make a case, to make an argument for themselves that the Pittsburgh Penguins are a playoff team. And once again, we have the core that have been there, have done that. Okay? It doesn't hurt when you're going into a playoffs with this young, scrappy team. It's actually not a young team, but it's a scrappy team. And these guys are looking to Sid, Gino, Carlson, Letang. They've been there. They have done this. And I guarantee you, we are all in. We're pushing. And that, speaking of all in, the last thing we can talk about, and then we'll wrap up, is it'll be very interesting, as Josh mentioned, the sprint towards the playoffs. We're forgetting one key milestone, which is the trade deadline. It'll be very interesting what Dubas does at the trade deadline to either advance this Pittsburgh Penguins team to even greater heights, or are we going to do a flash retool to kind of help the team? Or, Josh, there's also another option. We do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think? Really quickly, you don't have to go into great detail, but what do you think the Penguins are going to do at the trade deadline after we come back from the Olympic break?
Yeah, so I mean, we are going to do a trade deadline episode, so my opinion as of today is subject to change, but I think right now we do nothing. I think this team is finally gelling. I think this team is working, and barring any injuries, any additional injuries, we don't mess with what we got. I think we just we let it be, and then let the chips fall as they may.
Yeah, there was a time where I would say that's absolutely ludicrous, but now I'm starting to think, and the only thing that makes me believe what you're saying is that this team believes in each other, and we're gelling for the first time. We're cracking jokes on the plane. We're finally coming together.